political commentator Tara Setmayer, resident scholar at the University of Virginia Center for Politics, and Alice Stewart, a CNN political commentator, Republican strategist, and former director of communications for Senator Ted Cruz. Ladies, it's so good to have you here. Thank you for being up with us. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Christy.
Tara, talk to me about what we just saw there. This is a party that is fractured. What is being done at CPAC, if anything, to try to work beyond the base?
Oh, absolutely nothing. That was one of the most politically awkward moments within party leadership I've seen in my political career. The body language is clear that Liz Cheney is not part of the Trump Boys Club within the GOP, and nor should she be. She took a heroic stance against her own party in favor of protecting the Constitution and our democratic process. What's happening at CPAC, there's absolutely nothing being done beyond the base. They have decided that this is the Trump party. And anyone who says otherwise is not paying attention. It was clear, speech after speech, that it was about Trump. They might as well call it Trump PAC, because that's what it's about. I mean, we saw a USA Today poll this week that showed that 46% of Republicans would leave the Republican Party to follow Trump if he started a new one. And 54% said that they should be more loyal. The party should be more loyal to Trump than it is now. That's all you need to know. These people are doubling down on a president who is twice impeached, pro-insurrection, and anti-democracy. And if that's the direction the party wants to go in, well, we'll see how that works out for them in the polls.
So, Alice, I want to ask you, because there are several discussions at CPAC, as we understand it, on the agenda that focus specifically on the 2020 election. There's one panel, in fact, that is titled Other Culprits, How Judges and Media Refused to Look at the Evidence. And listen to something that Don Jr. said this week.
They just rather lose gracefully, I guess. That's not really a plan that I would go with, but it's what they've done. Donald Trump has shown that you don't have to do that. You can actually push back. So is pushing back questioning the integrity of an election if you didn't win? What does the pushback look like here, Alice?
Well, we shouldn't be pushing back at all. First of all, I will say that we have free and fair elections, and questioning the integrity of the elections is not a winning formula. And Republicans should be focusing not on the election that Donald Trump lost in November, but how Republicans are going to win elections moving forward. And any moment spent on questioning our free and fair elections is a minute wasted on winning the House in 2022, as well as pushing back against Joe Biden's progressive agenda. But as much as my friend Tara hates to admit it, Donald Trump is the de facto head of the Republican Party. He is certainly a strong voice, or the leading voice within CPAC, and they are a big part of the grassroots efforts of the Republican Party. And we cannot throw the big baby out with the bathwater, because if we did that, then the Republican Party would be circling the drain pipe. It is important to keep Donald Trump engaged to the degree that he keeps the party on board, but it would be important and helpful if we found someone with a much more civil and Reagan-like demeanor to lead the party in the future.
So you have to keep him engaged, but the question is, you know, you've got leaders there this week that are talking: Ted Cruz, Josh Hawley, Governor Ron DeSantis. There are people looking ahead to 2024 and thinking, who is there besides Donald Trump? Is it possible that the former president can have some sort of center in the Republican Party without being president, Tara?
Listen, there should be no engagement of Donald Trump in the Republican Party. Let's be honest about what we're talking about here. We cannot ignore what Donald Trump was in a party to. He put forward a big lie that our presidential election was not free and fair, that it was that it was illegitimate, that Joe Biden is not the legitimate president. He incited a deadly insurrection at our Capitol, where people were chanting to hang Mike Pence, his own vice president. He's not loyal to the party. He doesn't care about what happens to Republicans. He only cares about himself. So why, in God's name, would the Republican Party want to continue to hitch hitch their wagon to someone who is the most failed president in history and who stands for nothing that they do. I think that is a self-reflection issue that Republicans need to think about for themselves, that this is what they're willing to continue to go down. So if they want to keep him engaged, well, then they will continue to shrink as a party. They will not win national elections. And Democrats should be smart and force them to explain why they have become a party of pro-insurrection, pro-sedition, and anti-democratic values.
So,
Christi,
Alice, I'm sorry, let me ask you real quickly, and I want to let you get your point in as well, but make your point, but then please answer the question here about once Sunday is over, the confetti's been swept away, everybody's gone home, will there be more clarity about what the Republican Party looks like?
First, I'll say Republican leaders are not hitching their wagon as much to Donald Trump as the 74 million voters that voted for him in November. And they're listening to their constituents back at home, and they appreciate the fact, like it or not in terms of his tone, but they appreciate the fact Donald Trump is still fighting for them on the issues. But more than anything, what the Republican Party needs to do coming out of CPAC as the dust settles is make sure that we are united on the policies that CPAC and Republicans stand for, which is conservatism, the Constitution, individual liberty, reduced federal government. Those are the key principles. And we need to be united on, as I have said, pushing back on the Biden progressive Democrat agenda and focusing priority number one on winning Republicans in the next election. That should be the goal coming out.
All righty. Well, with all of the conversations that are going to be had about the election and looking back, the question is, what are we going to be left with? What is America going to be left with looking at a Republican Party as of tomorrow night? Tara Setmayer, Alice Stewart, I appreciate both of you so much. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Christi.
Of course.
All right, as Congress continues